Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching from. Mariam, I'm the Ladies Guide, your emotional wellness guide, every Monday morning, giving you the 7 minutes of inspiration. Today, we are going to take a quick dive into the brain workers, people who use their brain for creativity. You who use your brain and task it to do a lot of mental work, you need to understand that it needs something. And in this video, I'm going to show you what exactly the brain needs.
She's a lady, she's a woman, she is love, she is love.
We looked at emotional broadcast. How to emotionally broadcast yourself to the world using your feelings. If you missed our last 7 minutes of inspiration, please go in the description section. The link is there. Then you can watch how you can broadcast yourself to the world using your feelings. Because I told you, that's the foundation. How people come into your life, how you come into people's audiences, because you are like a radio station. So in today's 7 minutes of inspiration, we are looking at rest as a remedy, rest as a solution. Are you a brain worker? A person who uses a part of your brain most of the time, the lawyers, the doctors, the engineers, the psychiatrists, the psychologists, counselors, spiritual healers, students, yes, we have students, we have artists, a lot of them. Anybody who engages your brain as a foundation of your output, you need to understand this. Because when the brain is overtasked, when you overtask the brain to work, it affects the physical body. Because most of the illness you face in life is out of you overusing the brain without resting well. Sleeping is not rest. Please, sleeping is not rest. Many of you sleep, but you don't rest. So if you're in that category of people and you're using the brain so much, thinking, you need to rest well. And this being an emotional wellness channel, it is very important for us to remind you that your emotions get affected when the brain is not in operation effectively. So if your feelings and your emotions are very important in productivity, then pay attention on how the brain rests. In today's video, I want to give you simple little tips I use personally and what other people use to stay productive. And don't forget, resting for a brain worker should not be too long. Don't rest for so long. Because when you rest for so long, you move in a state called inactivity, where now the brain gets depressed. That's why many people who go for rest, long holidays, come back instead when they're tired. You don't need to rest for so long because the brain has been active for a long time and you're breaking the pattern of its activity. So resting should be demarcated, should be organized, but not for so long. Because when you do it for so long, you lose the rhythm, you lose the momentum that the brain has been functioning on. So number one, switch off. Learn to switch off your brain and move in that carefree world. Go to places where you don't need to think. Move into meetings where you don't need to think. Anything that calls for thinking in time of leisure, don't invite it. And I know many of you do that. Number two, come into contact with nature, the animals, the birds, the plants. Take time to watch the sun rise. Take time to watch the moon. Move to lakes and rivers. All that is nature. Now rejuvenating your mind. Pick some flowers, walk in the woods. All that is nature, trying to show its beauty to you. And that time the brain is only functioning. Don't forget, the brain only gives you results. The brain only gives you answers when it's in serendipity, when there is rest. That's where the answers come from. That's why many of you get answers when you're in the lavatory, the toilet, or the bathroom. Because you're not thinking. You're taking a shower and then that's when the idea comes. Because the brain has gone to rest. The brain only operates when it's in rest, not when on tension. Okay? So, take a lot of water. Yes, water. Water is good for the skin. I do 4 liters a day. Not below that. 4 liters. You can imagine someone taking 4 liters a day. 5 liters at times. meaning that my brain is ever in functioning, because when you take a lot of water, you give blood better circulation. The blood circulates to all parts of the body very well when it's consuming water. So fall in love with water. All brain workers, please, water is your friend, because that is a natural beverage that nature gave us to use for rejuvenation. So take lots of water. Then last but not least, exercise. Work out. I told you inactivity is very dangerous for the body. The physical body is an element which God made for activity. Whether you are sick, whether you are resting, there must be activity of the body. Don't sit down for a long time. It can move you into depression, irritability, regrets. That's when you come back to think about yourself, because now you're sitting down. So then in today's 7 minutes of inspiration, I need to remind you, please learn to rest, and rest well. Okay? When you're sleeping, switch off. Don't be cold towards sleep. Don't look at the screen when you're sleeping in the darkness. All that affects your resting mode. Get enough darkness. There is a video I did some time back which has a title called How to Sleep Well. Yes, people don't know how to sleep. You're sleeping, you're watching a TV. You're sleeping, you're on phone. You're sleeping and you're talking on phone in the next 5 minutes of your sleep. You will not rest. So learn that the brain needs rest, just like the body. And you as a brain worker, in that category of people I've mentioned, you need to use your brain more the next day. So anything which comes to your brain to disorganize, to antagonize, don't entertain it. Okay? So in the 7 minutes of inspiration today, you've learn to rest well. Resting well. And that's what I have for you today. My dear friend, just remind you, we have Emotional Intelligence Masterclass. We have Discover Your Life Purpose. We have the Young Adults Guide. We have the Narcissistic Recovery Guide. All those tailor-made for your development in life and to see that you become a better person. Thank you so much. And once again, Mariam, I'm this guy in the 7 minutes of inspiration. See you again next week. Bye-bye.
She's a lady.